I'm the superintendent of schools for Utopia Independent School District. I oversee the operations of the school district from day to day, and I operate directly under the Board of Trustees for Utopia Independent School District. I started out about 30 years ago. This will be my 30th year in education. It was about 4 years ago now that I got a phone call from Utopia ISD, and they were looking for a superintendent. I was asked to apply, and I applied and ended up getting the job and have loved it ever since.
I am the secretary on the school board and the longest running. I've been on the school board since 2007, so I'm the most experienced school board member and the eldest, I think. I was born and raised here, family all the way back generations to when they settled the land. I was raised on a ranch here. We had cows and goats and all the ranching things. There's 4 girls in my family, and my dad worked us on the ranch like we were his boys. So, and then went off to college and gone a few years and came back and put my kids in school here. So I'm probably 7 generations in the canyon and maybe 4 in this school. Some goals that the board has is to make sure that every child that leaves the school is successful. We want our kids safe and ready to go out into the world and do whatever it is they dream about.
Can we do a strategic planning session where we kind of ask the community, where does this school want to go and what are some of your goals? And so they said, yeah, let's do that. And so we brought in about 50 teachers, parents, community members, business owners, students. We brought everybody in and we started on a strategic planning process. Where do we want to be in 5 or 10 years? And one of the big things was safety. We wrote probably close to $2 million worth of grants now, and we've been able to upgrade our safety greatly. One of the other things that came out of that is that they were very concerned about facilities. One of the facilities, the original one, was built in 1927, and they were concerned about that. One of the big goals that came out of it was to have facilities that were state-of-the-art, up-to-date, safe, secure, and fostered a good learning environment. So it was right after that that we formed a facilities committee. The facilities committee has been meeting now for over 2 years. They've been meeting at least once a month. We've done studies on the facilities that we have. Texas Association of School Boards came in and they did an independent study so that we could find out exactly where we were.
Chad Hillis, community member, board member, former student. Been here ever since the founding of the town. The family has. I guess my kids going through school now are going to make the 5th generation to go through the particular building here. It started with great-grandmother who may have been to a different one, and then my granddad, dad, myself, and now my 2 children. I was asked to be on the facilities committee back during a strategic planning process. And that was before I was a board member. And then that's what got me started on the process and what kept me continuing on, because there's a lot of people got on the facilities committee and then got back off, and then I stayed on it because I thought this was something that needed to be seen through. And so we just started with really having a tour of the facility, which I grew up in 20 years ago, and my dad, 40, and my granddad 60 years ago. And so I knew what it looked like. I didn't think there wasn't going to be much new for my eyes to see, except for an old building. Well, as we went through it, there was some stuff that you could just really tell, even in the 20 years since I've been gone, have really started to fall into disrepair. And not because of lack of upkeep. They do a great job, but just the building is getting to be close to 100 years old.
After that facility study, they looked at that and they made the decision that we needed some new facilities. Put together a package, looked at some drawings, some possibilities. Nothing was written in stone, but they needed some drawings to be able to figure out how we were going to be able to come up with the money and how much it was going to cost. And then on August the 14th of 2023, the Facilities Committee came to the board, made a recommendation to the board, and the board voted unanimously to go out for a $58 million bond to take care of our facilities. After reviewing the studies, the Facilities Committee felt like the students needed a new building. So the first thing the bond will include will be a new facility. It'll be a cafetorium with a stage, of course, and then serving areas, and then rooms and offices for principal and 5th through 12th grade. Then once that's complete, then demolition of the old main building will be performed. Once that's done, that's the main part of the bond. That's estimated at about $30 million. Additional district-wide improvements and renovations to be determined by the Board of Trustees with participation and feedback from the community. Also, the district's financial advisors estimate that the maximum tax rate increase would be 50 cents. However, depending on your homestead's appraised market value, recent mandates from Austin compressing the district's M&O rate and voter approval of the increased homestead exemption from $40,000 to $100,000, some residents may see a decrease in the dollar amount they pay on their property tax bill for the school district. There are two types of taxes that taxpayers pay in a school district. One is M&O, which stands for maintenance and operation. That's enough to pay for operations from year to year. Salaries, standard maintenance on buildings, replacing light bulbs, things of that nature, replacing some rugs and upgrading a few things that we have in the classroom. It's not designed to be able to do major renovations. Some differences might be if you have one air conditioner that goes out, your M&O fund would probably be able to pay for that. But if you have multiple air conditioners that are reaching an age where you're going to have several of them going out at one time, your M&O is not going to be able to cover those kind of projects. If you have an aging building, your M&O is designed to be able to replace the light bulbs, to replace a couple of ceiling tiles, maybe to be able to buy a new desk, things of that nature. But it is not designed to be able to replace major components or to replace the building completely. That side is taken care of by interest and sinking. Interest and sinking is very much like taking out a home mortgage or a home improvement loan, to be able to pay for major improvements and then to pay them off through the next few years. Due to mandates from Austin, this is the first year that Utopia ISD is going to have to send money to Austin, and it's going to be in the amount of about $160,000. And that represents about 6% of our annual budget here at Utopia. What is hurting us tremendously is the fact that the comptroller, which is the state representative, comes in and they do an evaluation study and they determine what they feel like the values of the property should be. The Central Appraisal District for each county, they do the actual appraisals. And for this last year, the comptroller's values came in much, much higher than what the Central Appraisal District values were. We collect funds or taxes based on the Central Appraisal District. The state sends us money based on the comptroller's values. So the Central Appraisal District values are here, and that's what we're collecting money on. The comptroller's values are here, and that's what the state is sending us money on or making us send money to the state. So that $160,000 is that difference. If we were collecting those funds, it would be one thing, but we're not collecting those funds, and we still have to send that money to the state. 65 and over exemption. Anyone who reaches 65 years of age or older can go to the local Central Appraisal District in their county, and they can file a 65 and older exemption. What happens is it freezes their taxes. Some people think that it freezes the value. Some people think that it freezes the rate. It actually freezes the dollar amount. So if you're paying $2,500 in taxes that year, you'll never pay more than that. And that doesn't matter if you pass a bond or if the rate goes up or if your value goes up, you will never pay more than $2,500. However, if the rate goes down or if additional exemptions are provided and it causes the bottom dollar to go down and you go from $2,500 down to say $2,000, it drops to $2,000 and then it can never go above that. So it's a ceiling. It's not a set number for the rest of your life. So with a bond like this, yes, it may change the rate, but your tax dollar for anybody 65 or older that has filed the exemption, it will never change the bottom line. It could actually go down because the M&O rate goes down, but it will never be more than the dollar amount that the individual is paying. If you're over the age of 65 and have questions about your homestead exemption, please contact the tax appraiser's office for more information. If I have a homestead exemption, why will the ballot read this is a property tax increase? This requirement was part of new laws coming from Austin after the legislative session in 2019. This language is required by the state of Texas to be on the ballot, regardless of the tax rate set by the district. Due to the fact that the M&O rate at Utopia ISD is going to go down from 0.8846 to 0.6692, and the fact that there's a possibility that the homestead exemption is going to go from $40,000 per homestead to $100,000 per homestead, it is very possible that many of our taxpayers, even with the 50-cent bond, the rate of 50 cents on the bond, even with that combined with the 0.6692 M&O rate, the bottom dollar that they pay, that net amount, could possibly go down. We would like all members of the Utopia ISD district to learn more about the November bond and the district. To do so, please visit utopiaisdbond.com. Please be sure to check out all of the facts on the district's bond website, including voting locations and times for both early voting and election day.